Making a sitemap.xml file is a great thing to do for SEO. It helps the search engines to spider your sites more efficiently. So what we want to do with Jekyll is I'd ideally like Jekyll to generate these URL tags for every page and post on my site automatically, so I don't have to actually generate the sitemap.xml file myself. So the way I'm going to do that is we have to loop over all of the pages and create a URL tag, and over all of the posts to create a URL tag. So since I have to do 2 loops, that means to me that this is a good chance to use an include. So I'm going to make a new include called sitemap entry.xml. I'm going to paste this in here like this. So this is going to be my sitemap entry XML file. So I know ahead of time a few things of what I'm going to do. Now in here, I want to start my loop. So let's start with for post in site.posts like this. All right, and we'll end our for loop here. And then inside that, we want to include our sitemap entry.xml file. So now we're going to include the sitemap entry for every single post on the site. Now the problem is here we need to get this post information into the include, and if you remember we can pass variables in, so we'll call it entry and we'll pass in post like that. We'll pass entry equals post. So now let's go back to here and we just have to do a few things. So the first one is we want to finish off this URL. We'll put site.base URL in here like this, and then we'll put include.entry.url to finish that off. And then we have these other things like the change frequency and the priority. Now it may be that you haven't set up a change frequency or a priority for your pages. So we want to kind of make these optional. So what we would do is we'd put an if statement around them. If include.entry.change frequency, then do this. And if, whoops. Just noticed my indentation was a little bit weird in these. It's bothering me, of course, so I need to fix it. Okay, so there we go. Let's change this then to include.entry.change frequency, like that. And then we want to do the same thing for priority. So by wrapping them in if statements like this, we are making these 2 things optional. And I'll show you how we can use them in a second. All right. So let's go see if this actually works. We have created our sitemap.xml file and it should loop over it and spit these out for us. So let's go to our browser and check it out. Sitemap.xml. All right. So you can see here, it's not working. It's spitting out this Jekyll stuff. So the reason it's doing that is because we need to include the open and close YAML front matter at the top like that. Let's go back and refresh, and there we go. Here's a list of all of the posts on our site. And that works fairly well. So now we want to go back to our sitemap.xml. We want to duplicate this and loop over the pages. So site.pages. All right, let's go back and refresh. Now we have a big new sitemap that includes all the posts and all the pages. But there's a couple things in here that are not good. So you can see it's showing our CSS file, which isn't a good idea. And also I noticed down here, it's showing our sitemap.xml file. And so we don't really want to include those. If we go and look at those things, you'll notice they both have the YAML front matter. So as soon as you put YAML front matter at the top of them, Jekyll thinks that they're a page. Now we need a way to ignore these pages that have the YAML front matter. And the way that we can do it is by putting an if statement in here and checking to see if they're using a layout, because every other page on our website uses a layout. So we can just go if page.layout like this. Then we want to enter it into the sitemap. And if. All right, let's go refresh. See if that fixed it. So there you go. You can see the sitemap's gone, and that's good. Now, another thing we probably want to get rid of is these planet types that we used. Those weren't really part of our content, or they aren't pages or anything. So we're just going to put the same if statement around posts like this. And our sitemap now is fully set up. So it includes all of the pages and all the posts on our site. Now, I mentioned previously that we can put a change frequency and a priority in. So let's say we go to the home page and let's put a priority in here, priority 1.0. I'm going to make the home page really important. So let's go in here and refresh, and there you can see the home page now has a priority of 1.0. And maybe we'll go to the news page. Let's put a change frequency in here of, I don't know, weekly. Do that, and there you go. Now our news page has a change frequency. So because we set up our entry to check for a change frequency or a priority in that YAML front matter, it makes those two things optional, and it will put them in if we have specified them.